Manchester City's İlkay Gündoğan is very close to signing for Arsenal and has been heavily linked to the club Arsenal for some time, and things are definitely going on quite well, as you already know that in this actually he's out of contract. He's definitely out of contract, and he's looking at signing a new contract. It could be with Manchester City or it could be with Arsenal, with Barcelona showing a bit of interest. Anyway, we are going to be talking about this and much more in any Arsenal news. Hello everyone, and thank you for being part of the Arsenal chapter, and make your point subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to you, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right about here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your host Abu Chaos, as we definitely talk sports and as definitely we talk anything Arsenal related. So it will be remembered that the club Arsenal has performed very well. I must say, it will be unfair if anybody said Arsenal didn't perform very well at the last season. I mean, Arsenal finished second. Second isn't the best of positions. I know everybody is always eyeing up at the first position, getting to number one, but also second position isn't bad. That means the next season, Arsenal are going to try and maybe be in the first position. However, having said that, there will be almost all clubs right about now, when you look at Liverpool, they are now in a better position than when they were when the season began. So they will try and have a shot on the EPL title. Manchester United has developed itself, managing to be in the third position with 75 points. Definitely they'll try and also challenge for the title. And also Newcastle is going to have a very busy summer transfer window to make sure they can have the best and compete for the title. They've already secured Champions League football, which was something they wanted, and now they have it. Now the aim is the big cake. Anyway, one of the biggest reasons as to why Arsenal performed the way it performed, one of the biggest reasons as to why Arsenal did perform very well, managed to become the second, in the Premier League title, and the years before Arsenal wasn't doing very well, is because of the transfers. Arsenal shopped very well, and it had a very brilliant squad. It wasn't the best of squads, there was something missing in here, but the players were definitely brilliant and they put up a good fight, So the fact that Arsenal ended with 84 points with a goal difference of 42, and in 38 games managed to win 26 games and drew 6 times and lost only 6 games. That definitely shows you how close it was to winning the EPL title. Manchester City having 38 games, playing 38 games and winning 28, and Arsenal winning 26. Draws, Arsenal had six draws here, and Man City had 5 draws. Losses 6-5. It was very, very close. Points 69 for Man City and 89 for Man City and 84 for the club Arsenal. Arsenal was very, very close to winning the title. But why? What changed? Some of the reasons, or a very big reason as to why Arsenal performed is the shopping, the transfers, the general transfer window and the summer transfer window. We'll remember that Arsenal shopped off some of the Man City football players, 2 major football players, and that's Gabriel Jesus, who's performed very, very well. Brazilian international has played quite well despite the fact that he got an injury. He's performed quite brilliantly. Then leaving alone the Brazilian international, then there is also the Ukraine international, and that is none other than Who's this? Who's this lad? I can see his face. Who is he? Ukraine star. Come on. So the players whom Arsenal got from Man City was why is he getting out of my head? What's his name? Oh, Alexander Zinchenko, sorry. Yeah, Alexander Zinchenko. When you see Arsenal managed to get Alexander Zinchenko, and also not only did Arsenal get Alexander Zinchenko from Man City, you also got Gabriel Jesus. So the fact that Arsenal played very well with those two football players is now looking at also making a bigger impact, getting a few more football players from Manchester City. And one of the football players, actually there are two football players that are heavily linked to the club, Arsenal. The question is Pep Guardiola going to sell to Arsenal with what has happened? Is Manchester City in a position of selling to Arsenal with what has happened? Arsenal moving from a very bad position that it was in, then shopping very well, getting those football players off and performing the way it did. Looking at Arsenal, having got Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko, first team players for Arsenal now, and they have made massive impact for the club, Arsenal. And right about now, Mikel Arteta is definitely looking at Mikel Arteta is looking at somebody trying to get to me. Anyway, Mikel Arteta is trying to Mikel Arteta is trying to get two football players from Man City again. Mikel Arteta is trying to get Ilkay Gündoğan, who is a perfect midfielder, very good midfielder. For those of you who do not know who Ilkay Gündoğan is a German professional football player who plays as a midfielder for Premier League club Manchester City and the German national team. Gündoğan came through from VfL Bochum's Youth Academy in 2008. He began playing for the club's reserve side before joining FC Nürnberg, and he definitely is 32 years of age because he was born on the 24th of October 1990. So, looking at the impact that the two football players have made, I know it's been a joint effort because Arsenal has very good football players, but also Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko are also part of the process, a major part of what definitely led to the best. Then also, leaving those two aside, seeing Ilkay Gündoğan and also another football player being linked, and that's Joao Cancelo. Joao Cancelo is being linked to the club Arsenal. But the question is, would Manchester City really sell another player to Arsenal? It seems unlikely given the impact of Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko. However, if the price is definitely right, then it could definitely happen. If Arsenal is giving out a good price, then definitely there's nothing that's going to stop this from happening. Ike Gundogan is a very good one. It's a very wonderful football player. But if Arsenal can get these two football players, get Rodri, uh, uh, yeah. If Arsenal can get, Joao Cancelo, not Rodri. I'm confusing the two Sorry. If Arsenal can get Joao Cancelo, Arsenal has been linked to Joao Cancelo, not Rodri. Sorry. If Arsenal can get Joao Cancelo and Ilkay Gündoğan, definitely that will be a perfect one. Two of the football players that they got from that Mikel Arteta got from Manchester City have made a big impact. What about these two? It could be one of the best decisions that he's definitely going to be making. First of all, he's told the management that he's very interested in the two, but Ilkay Gündoğan, there is a very massive chance, very big chance. You'll be remember that Arsenal have an interest in Gündoğan, very big interest, and talks have taken place with his representatives over a possible free transfer this summer. Taking note that in this summer transfer window, Arsenal management has already contacted Ilkay Gündoğan's agents so that they talk about what is definitely going to be happening. Manchester City are still trying to get this gentleman sign a new contract, but things are still a bit complicated for him. For Manchester City, as they are trying, he's a free agent. I mean, if Manchester City wanted Ilkay Gündoğan to remain at the club, they shouldn't have given him the chance, to be a free transfer. They would have sold him last season or extended the contract last year. But now he stands a big chance of leaving the club and could be leaving. I know Arsenal aren't direct rivals for Manchester City, but they are title rivals. Now that Arsenal is looking at the title and saying, I need that title, then I think Pep Guardiola will think twice before selling to Arsenal again. So Manchester City are still trying their level best to make sure they can get a new contract. But things are not going on quite well for Manchester City, and Gündoğan is looking at leaving the club. He's definitely now available on a free transfer. But it will be remembered that Arsenal aren't the only club that are interested in this gentleman. A move to Barcelona remains the most likely option. But Arsenal are trying to convince him to stay in the Premier League following his glittering career at the Etihad. He would be perfect low-cost replacement for Granit Xhaka. I don't know whether you understand what I mean. Barcelona have come and said they also need this gentleman. They also need Ilkay Gündoğan. And there is a big possibility that Barcelona could definitely have him. Because when you see he's a Barcelona football player, and he's not a Barcelona football player, but Ilkay Gündoğan can fit in quite well in Barcelona. And the fact that Pep Guardiola is not going to be looking at selling to Arsenal, and he's got quite great links with the club Barcelona, it might be quite easy for him to sell to Barcelona, and it makes football sense to sell to Barcelona than to sell to Arsenal. That's the reality. But if the money is there, there's nothing that is going to stop Arsenal from getting Ilkay Gündoğan. And the fact that Arsenal has already gone on and got into talks with Ilkay Gündoğan's agents and tried to look at personal terms, look at how much he could be getting per month, but also his age being 32 years of age, maybe if he's going to sign a 2-year contract with the club Arsenal, that would solve a short-term problem, not a long-term problem. 32 is a very old football player. 32, you do not have quite a lot to put on the table, but we've seen the likes of Messi play even at 35, and they are still very, very fine. At 35, Messi was still a beast. So there's nothing stopping from Ilkay Gündoğan. He could definitely, maybe, if I'm in the position of signing Ilkay Gündoğan, I would give him 2 years and with an option of 1 year to extend. Just an option. But Arsenal trying as much as they can to make sure they can sign Ilkay Gündoğan. Anyway, thank you for being part of this podcast. And make your point, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to you, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right about here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your host Abu Kazastel. Thank you and goodbye for now.